Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to address you on behalf of His Excellency, the alternate Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. George Katrougalos, who is absent abroad today. Dear members of the board of the British Hellenic Chamber of Commerce, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the Great Britain and the United Kingdom in Greece, Minister Papadimitriou of National Economy and Development, Mr. Hatzidakis, Vice President of New Democracy Party, distinguished guests. It is an honor to be here today and address the esteemed audience of the United Kingdom's intention to withdraw from and establish a new partnership with the European Union, as the recent letter by the British Prime Minister to the European Council suggests. I wish to particularly thank the organizers for their invitation and apologize for not being with you today, as my obligations abroad do not allow me to. Following the invocation of Article 50 of the treaty by the UK, Greece, as each of the member states, has its part to play during the consequent negotiations between the EU team, headed by Mr. Michel Barnier, and the United Kingdom. We regret that the United Kingdom will leave the European Union. This is the start of a long, strenuous negotiating period, and Greece is currently in the process of formulating its negotiating positions and priorities. At this stage, a stance of unity by all member states is paramount, enabling honest and effective deliberations between all parties. Dear guests, despite the uncertainty surrounding the conclusion of future relations between the EU and the UK, let me refer in short to current estimations indicating the Brexit economic impact on Greece and bilateral trade. I am sure the speakers that follow are more qualified to elaborate and quantify the existing data. The United Kingdom stands as one of our top economic and trade partners, with relations extending significantly in tourism, maritime sector, investments, training, etc. Current projections show that, depending on the consequent negotiating arrangements, the so-called soft or hard Brexit, Greek GDP is expected to contract within 2016 and 2020 from 0.44% to 0.99%. Our volume of trade is significantly reduced compared to pre-crisis levels, to euro 2.23 billion in 2016, whereas the trade balance was marginally in favor of the UK. Greek exports to the country are expected to be influenced by minus 0.8% to 1% in the worst case scenario. Inbound tourism will be inevitably affected, reducing tourism revenues by 2.29% to 6.3%. It is noted that travel accounts top the balance of payments with the UK. The Greek banking system is relatively little interdependent with the British one. Through exposure to financial products, like deposits, bonds, shares, etc., the local banking sector will be mainly affected by trade transactions, tourism, real estate, and student remittances. The consequences of Brexit on global maritime trade will generally be less adverse, considering the fact that the UK is a global shipping hub, whereas the operational structure of Greek shipping may potentially favor the attraction of international maritime players locally. Ladies and gentlemen, the invocation of Article 50 of the treaty marks the beginning of negotiations on the terms of the UK's withdrawal, as well as on the establishment of the future partnership with the EU. Greece is prepared for the consequent deliberations, which should take place in good faith and transparency, bearing in mind that we are in need of each other in order to address a multitude of common regional and global challenges. The British people's decision showcased the irreversibility of the European edifice, an inconceivable concept so far. Now, the emphasis should be laid on retaining a friendly and constructive spirit throughout the process. Our priorities are trust in the unity, acquis communautaire, and future of the European Union, namely to protect and further promote our shared democratic values. We agree with Her Excellency Ambassador Mrs. Smith that weakening our cooperation for the prosperity and protection of our citizens would be a costly mistake. Therefore, we should focus on minimizing the impact for our people residing in the EU and the UK. The first irregularities are already here, and we should aim to strike an agreement about our people's rights as soon as possible. Concluding my speech, I wish to stress the urgent demand for developing the EU further to meet today's challenges, not only as a result of Brexit. Towards this direction, we observe different levels of ambition among member states. This is a chance to work together more closely because we are convinced that common solutions and concrete results are the best way to deal with the current widespread critique and uncertainty. We aim to approach the upcoming talks constructively and work hard to find a mutually beneficial agreement, contributing to long-standing prosperity and further shielding us against all threats, current and future. Thank you very much for your kind attention and hospitality.